forgot a lot of numbers.
True.
I don't think he's very good counting.
Trades.
No, especially counting
Juice.
Yeah.
No.
Good job, Jerry. I'm proud of you.
Do I even count down anymore? Because you guys just
No,
know,
you need to count down.
or else you wouldn't know when to talk, right? Like you wouldn't know when to just jump in and decide that this is the intro.
What intro?
That's how we do intros.
Hello and
We don't do
welcome
intros.
to the Villains Talk Show.
What are you talking about?
To the Villains Talk Show and podcast and Two Shot Sundays. I am one of your hosts, C4. Beside me is Sara, Vike. Below me is the Great Grease Goblin. In the nether is Sir Jeremy. And as always, not here is Insanieac. And we're Villains Talk Show podcast. We do Two Shot Sundays. But we actually have some news about that we're going to start with. Actually, we have a little bit of news we're going to go through. For people on the podcast, they are 2 weeks behind. So this is coming out on October 27th, probably a bit earlier, the 25th. But right now, we are going to start a 3-part podcast special. Woo!
Yeah!
It's the best infographic I got. Sorry. All that means is for the next 3 podcasts, we're going to be talking about horror. We talked about cosmic horror, so we're not going to talk about that. No, we're going to focus on 3 that we've all mentioned. Today will be horror comedy. Next week will be slasher. And then on the 27th will be supernatural. Followed by our 2-shot on the 31st, which Sunday, it's on the 31st, it's on Halloween. So I'm going to dress up again for Halloween like I did last year, and we're doing...
You dressed up last year?
Do you not
I don't remember that. It was a
me
Saturday,
putting
so...
on a top hat for the stream and wearing a suit?
A top hat. That's nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, no, that's nothing new for you.
Thank you, actually. You know what?
You're a very dapper sir.
I'll take
He's
the
not a sir. Jeremy's the sir.
On October 31st,
right.
for our 2-shot, it's going to be a 1-shot. We're going to narrow it down to 1, and it's going to be me, and I'm going to be doing the Carnival of Horror that just came out with the new D&D expansion book.
Whichever
one he wants, probably.
What's it called?
Wild by the Witchlight?
No, from Ravenloft.
Ravenloft?
It's Guard to Ravenloft. That is the Carnival. Doesn't it?
You mean Ravenloft?
Isn't it Ravenloft? I thought it was Ravenloft.
There are 2 with carnivals.
You know what? I think I was running with Ravenloft because that's the more horror one. Anyway, so look forward to that. But
Or don't.
Something new that we're going to start next week. I'm still debating if we're going to put it on the podcast or not. I guess you will know if it's there. It'll probably be like a bonus episode. I could probably release it as bonus episodes. I'm going to release them as bonus episodes. And what are these bonus episodes called?
Revelations.
Well, why doesn't the elusive gentleman introduce what we're doing?
Our new segment.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be introducing the elusive tavern tales as told by the elusive gentleman. A ongoing narrative of a bard traveling through taverns to make his coin, peddling the stories of his adventures and trade. It'll be episodic. Probably new groups. If you'd like characters, be sure to post and like. We'll make sure those characters do reemergences.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was this idea that the elusive gentleman just threw at me that was absolutely genius. Because we do these 2-shots where we make up these characters and we've all played different things, and if anyone who's listening to the podcast, the Twitch is twitch.tv/C4, like the letter 4, and then Ilporson.
Yes, the letter 4.
Yeah. It's necrophiliac spelled backwards.
I was going to just stand too close to the mirror when you read it.
But
It is.
that being,
Great.
So casually moving past that, if you ever come on the Twitch and watch us live on Wednesdays and Sundays at 10:30 Mountain Standard Time, we if you just talk in the chat and ask to come on, we will bring you on Two Shots. It's what we do. We love bringing people on to Two Shots. It's the whole point. You don't have to come for both, but like it's just, you know, come on and play. We'll teach you how. But yeah, so basically,
It'll be chaotic because everything we do is.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we're looking really forward to starting that next week, and that will take place on Wednesdays after the podcast. So we stream for about an hour of the podcast, and then an hour we're going to do these elusive terror tales. Yeah, exciting times. Exciting times.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I guess.
Very exciting.
Is it
I'm looking
palpable?
forward to it.
You want lower
It'll be
energy?
fun.
I can go lower energy.
I have a migraine, man.
Speaking of low energy migraines, one of my favorite movies that I would assume only Elusive Gentleman has ever seen is Toxic Avenger. And just by that laugh, I know I'm right. Why don't you tell our audience why it's such a bad movie? Please.
The ultimate B movies, like the worst graphics, the worst story.
Yet there was 5 of them.
And a cult following.
Wasn't there? I believe there was 5 Toxic Avenger movies. I need to look this up now.
3?
Were there?
Toxic Avenger. But please go on. Tell me about why I love this movie.
I don't know why you love this movie.
Oh my
I think
god.
that's the each their own. That's such a
How could I not?
wow.
Toxic Crusaders. Oh my god, there's a television series.
They're doing a reboot with Peter Dinklage.
You bless it and it will come. I did not know that. And I just see it. Oh my
Peter
god.
Dinklage to star in Legendary's Toxic Avenger reboot.
Oh my god, I'm so happy. I have no
He's
idea.
gonna be the Toxic Avenger.
And there is 5 Toxic Avenger movies, by the way.
Oh.
Sorry,
I'm
there's 6.
glad you're so happy.
Toxic Avenger Part 2, Toxic Avenger Part 3, Last Temptation of Toxie, Citizen Toxie, Toxic Avenger 4, Toxic Avenger, and oh no, only 5. Yeah, Toxic.
This is Toxie.
Citizen Toxie. So what is the Toxic Avenger for my younger crowd out there? I almost don't want to rob you of how amazing this movie is. It's about the heroic exploits of a guy who's a janitor, and he falls into like, I forget if it's like a vat of acid or it's like a barrel of toxin.
It's like a radioactive toxic factory or something.
That's right. And he's just a janitor. And he goes inside and he comes out as this giant melted human. And he's a hero. But what makes the movie good, and the reason I want everyone now to go out there and watch it, is it's horror, because the way that they portray the Toxic Avenger is like he just rips people asunder in the most goriest of fashion.
Yeah, it's a slasher movie, but it's one of the first superhero movies.
But it's a superhero slasher movie.
It's a slasher.
The slasher is the superhero. And it's so good. It's
No, it's so bad.
It's so good. I've never been so happy to hear that Peter Dinklage is going to be in one of my all-time favorite franchises, because
they made the Toxic Avenger with
your all-time favorite franchises often.
The budget for the Toxic Avenger was $500,000.
Hear that sweet number? 1984. And you
86.
and you know like half of that went to cocaine.
Yeah, half of that was posted writing. Because like they have like one of the main bad guys is named Cigar Face.
That's
Like it's terrible writing.
it's so good. Oh, in terms of like horror comedy, if it was made any other way, it would just be another slasher flick like Halloween or Jason. But you root for this giant toxic. Oh, I love it. I'm gonna link Toxic. If you've never seen Toxic Avenger, you need to. It is fucking
That's
amazing.
funny. So the second movie was a 2.3 million. And the second movie was our third movie was 500,000. And the fourth movie was 500,000 their budgets. So the second movie, they blew all their money in the second movie. And then here's how even worse it is. So they made it cost them 500 grand to make the first movie. They made 800,000 from it. So they only made 300 grand. And then they spent 2.3 million on the second movie and only made 800 grand. So it was like legit, like a very niche audience.
Wow.
What? This movie's coming out next summer?
What?
He's just so excited over this.
It's
Toxic.
ridiculous to be the Toxic Avenger.
I didn't even know they were making a new one. I just brought it up because I think horror comedy, and I just went as far back as I could think. And I'm like, what's one of my favorite all-time 80s horror comedy movies? And I'm like, man, there's Dusk After Dawn, there's Evil
Tales
Dead,
from the Dark Side.
Tales from the Dark Side. There's even there's not even Tales from the Crypt Keeper. I was even thinking the other Tim Curry one, where he plays that giant devil.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
No. That's from the 70s. The devil. Where
it?
he plays. Yeah, Rocky Horror Picture Show was from the 70s.
Yeah, that
man.
makes sense.
Yeah, it is.
Because my mom watched it when she was 18. No, I'm thinking the one Legend. Legend came from the 80s. And so I was just trying to look back, and I'm like, Toxic Avenger. That's a movie that no one's ever seen, and you're telling me, like, Jacob Tremblay, Elijah Wood's in it.
Of course he is. Have you seen anything he's done after Lord of the Rings? It's all been hilarious and almost a joke.
Except,
Nathaniel
no.
Radcliffe.
Wilfred
Disagree.
was fucking hilarious.
Disagree. If you've ever seen, wait, is that Elijah Wood or is that Harry Potter? No, it is Elijah Wood. Sin City. The original Sin City.
Yeah.
That Elijah Wood
He's
was
like a cannibal rapist.
cannibal rapist
Oh,
serial
my.
killer. It was so good.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things.
Oh my god, he played the
What order did he do
Does
those
he,
things
does he
in?
even all of those orders in any order he chose?
He rapes and
Impressive.
murders really beautiful women, then eats them. That was his character.
Cool.
Didn't
He
speak.
didn't ever eat
I was
them
gonna say,
before?
yeah, he never spoke. Did he have a thing about why he didn't speak? There was like a thing about that.
The good side.
That made that last scene like really rough to watch.
The good son.
You haven't seen that?
No, what is that?
That's Elijah Wood and Macaulay Culkin. They play stepbrothers in the same house, and Macaulay Culkin's an asshole brother who literally tries to kill his like little sister like several times. He's a psychopath serial killer brother, and Elijah Wood plays the good brother. If you haven't seen that movie, that's a twisted movie. That's an old movie. Like they're kids. That's Home Alone old.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, that's a good.
And it's like probably one of Macaulay Culkin's best roles.
I've
in
never
my opinion.
heard of that movie. I'm gonna.
He plays like at first he's like, because at first he comes out of the Home Alone popularity, right?
Yeah.
So he's got that. He's
Yeah.
like that. I think he's the charming, nice brother, right? And then as the movie goes, he's just twisted and fucked up.
Retro horror, 1993. Damn, what was it? 6.4. Yeah, not too bad. Fucking, that makes me, for some reason, that brings me to like, just thinking, what movie tried to be scary that was really funny, like Slither.
Wreck.
Snakes on a plane.
No, that didn't try to be scary.
Yeah, originally it did, and then they rewrote most of the script because they knew how hilarious it was.
But I'm talking like literally like Slither or The Faculty, like levels of
The Faculty.
so stupid that it was actually just hilarious. Yeah. Like,
It had its creepy moments, but yeah, most of the movie was like a teenage hilarious.
yeah, push the teachers into the pool. Don't get them wet or else their heads explode.
That's scary.
It was the salt water.
That's right, because they were like leeches. The mind-controlling leeches.
They were like a brain bug. It was like an alien brain bug.
My God, I'm so happy you know these shit horror movies as much as I do.
It's funny because I tell people I'm not into horror, but I'm a movie buff. I just watch movies.
I watch so many horror movies. It's so sad how many of them are crap. But like I talk about Slither because like that whole movie, you can tell like it tries to be scary. I mean, except for the part, like even the part where it's like the grotesque fat woman that's like just.
So there is also like a low budget. What was that? That Sippy. I think it was Sippy or horror or Scream. It was on Scream. That horror channel, and it was super low budget. Like Slither wasn't meant to be. I still see trailers for that and laugh.
That makes sense. I was gonna say there was a low budget horror channel, but there was a low budget every channel.
Scream is still a thing. They're actually higher budget now.
Yeah,
Because they've been
their
that
own
thing for a
streaming service
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, they do. They're another Amazon style $10 service.
Would you call it a streaming service?
A streaming service, absolutely.
Get the fuck out right now. The door is right there.
Actually, it's right there.
That you pointed the same direction.
I don't
No,
have
we
doors
pointed
on
the
my
other
dimension.
direction.
Leprechaun.
Doors don't
have
exist.
doors in
Yes.
your dimension.
No, we just flow.
Wait, I'm gonna do this. Gzdriv Forev? Giz
Who's
Doctor.
Dev?
I don't know. We got it. Leprechaun. Great movie. Great movie.
The first one was.
You really want? No, they're all good.
Let's be specific here. No,
All
the
good.
third one it was comedy.
That's the point. Is
The first one was intentionally like supposed to be on the same level as like
Which-
Hellraiser and
just
shit for like horror.
it must have been the second or third one where there's like a scene where he needs to get the girl.
Third one, Leprechaun in the.
Yeah. And he needs to get her to sneeze 5 times in a row without saying bless you. And a priest does it, and he goes over and just rips the priest in half behind a corner. Just like pours a bunch of. It's so dumb, but it's like you can't help but laugh. Was it young Jennifer Aniston?
Yes.
Fuck, bro.
Yes, it was.
Was it really?
Yes.
God, my memory's so bad. 1993. Director Mark Jones. Wow, Jennifer Aniston. How? Yeah, first thing you see, Troy Reading. But does that mean like? Would you call Gremlins a horror movie? No, I don't call kids movies like that horror movies. They're just unless it's like a brutal kids movie like The Dark Crystal. That's just psychological horror.
Have you seen the remake on that?
No, I haven't.
It's decent actually. They did it because they turned like an hour and a half movie into like an 8-part miniseries.
And I heard they brought back all the puppets.
Messed with my brain as a kid.
It
Like,
messed with the remake messed with me too.
yeah,
Yeah, it was good. I actually really enjoyed it.
yeah.
It's,
I enjoyed it. Like, it really
Judas
resonated with
Studio
me. I never knew what it was.
so they had all the puppetry.
The whole thing about like draining life that stuck with me for years and years, and I had no idea where it had come from.
Skeksis.
Goddamn skinksies.
They're like one of the best bad guys in like movies for like a long time.
It's just the name. So versatile. I've called many a person a skinksy.
Just because it's handy, huh?
Yeah, it is really good. So let's turn the table over to you since you're talking, Sarah. Name me a comedy horror movie that you at least like.
I don't really watch movies. The only comedy horror movies I think I've ever seen really have been the sCaRy movies, and I didn't love those. They
You
were
never
just weird.
you've never watched
Yeah.
like a movie
Yeah.
that tried to be scary so hard that you just laugh at? I did it The
There
Ring.
was. All the horror movies I've really seen, I've watched with my husband, and he gets terrified of them. So I usually just laugh at him. I find it hilarious. But there was one. Just give me a second. Let me figure out what it was.
I That's good to hear. I now know how to scare Sarah's husband.
That answers the question. Is a barbarian afraid?
Why do they rage? Because they are afraid. Not because-
He is just jumping out of his seat, and I'm just sitting there laughing at him.
I was going to say,
Insidious: The Last Key. It was just a bad movie.
well, yeah.
I don't remember what was so bad about it, but I remember that I came away from it and I went like, that was terrible.
I don't feel perturbed at all. What a horrible horror movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say I remember watching The Ring when it came out at like fucking 2004, 2005, so it was like 14, 15 when it came out.
Yeah, that's the first horror movie I got me.
The Ring would have been one of the first horror movies I watched. And I remember watching it and going like, this is just kind of boring.
I laughed whenever you saw the people like dead. They're all blue. It just looked like Blue Man Group.
Yeah,
they're like,
they're all blue. Yeah. If you see the Japanese one, it's like the actual horror. The Ju-on?
Yeah, the Ju-on. Yes.
Yeah, no, I just remember being bored during that movie.
It's like the grunge, right? At least the grunge did it right and actually ported over like the little Japanese horror kids that were in the original grunge in Japan, because everyone realized that little Japanese kids all painted white with black eyes is absolutely horrifying.
And like why, like staring at you all wide-eyed, like
It's one of those things like you look over and if you actually saw, like I might actually like scream and jump out of my desk.
Yeah.
Kill it with fire. No,
I think it's been a while since I really watched a horror movie.
I think
it.
Everyone's first real horror comedy as a kid, if just because the movie's amazing, and I'm going to throw it in regardless, is Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Or Addams Family.
Yeah, like the original. Oh, and or Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah,
that one's too scary.
I also never watched that.
Really?
There's a ghost,
dude,
right?
that movie is dark. Actually, watch Casper the Friendly Ghost. They're like, wow. There are some dark concepts in that movie.
You find out how Casper died, and it's brutal.
Dude, he wants to kill her and make her his friend forever.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about.
That's his like goal.
And she almost
turned her into a ghost.
Yeah, and instead of her doing it, her dad goes through with it.
Wait,
at the end,
the dad kills her.
Okay, Sarah, stop. So, Casper and his family live in a house, and there's something, I forget, it was like an artifact or something, and it makes the ghosts sentient. Casper died alone in the forest, and his uncles died of greed in the house. So you have
gluttony, and I can't remember
the girl. You have the girl and Bill Paxton. I forget who the girl was. She's a very famous actress. She's super goth, taken off of Beetlejuice.
Wednesday from the original Adam. It's Christina Ricci.
Thank you, Christina Ricci. And she like looks at Casper and makes friends with Casper, and she's like, I just want to die. And she prepares this whole chamber that's going to kill her in the house, so she become a permanent ghost. By the way, I'm just saying this out loud, and I love how I do this sometimes, but fuck you, American Horror Story. You stole the idea of Casper the Friendly Ghost and made it evil. Fuck you. And I will get into that in a second. Because I just realized they ruined Casper the Friendly Ghost for me. I'll get to that in literally a second. But instead of her dying, father finds out, sacrifices himself, he dies. And then at the end of the movie, she has no father. She has a friend that's a ghost. And so the angel of their mom descends from heaven and resurrects her dad so she won't be alone. And then they move out of the house.
No, they don't. They don't leave the house.
If you watch the second movie, they do.
Oh, okay. There's
Yeah. And then the third movie has Hilary Duff. I know because my little sister, that was like my little sister's favorite movie, and she watched it like 100 times. But yeah,
the end of the first movie is her is Christina Ricci dancing in the house with the ghosts.
Yep.
And she just lives there. It's like one living girl and a bunch of ghosts living in this haunted mansion.
But her dad's alive because her dad gets resurrected.
Oh yeah, that's right.
By the angel mom. And like this artifact that gets expended. It's
like a giant machine.
It's brutal. It's a brutal movie.
Yeah, the concept behind that movie is actually pretty dark.
That's right. The machine brings corporeal things back to life. That's right. That's right. And it only works once because they only have enough power for. I remember.
Yeah, it's the juice or whatever. It's that,
the
like,
juice.
Fluid or whatever.
It's the juice. Because he tried to bring Casper back to life. That's right. It was all about bringing Casper back to life. God, that movie's brutal.
My first thought was, I'm going to bring myself back to life so I can date this little girl living in my room. And technically, he'd be like 70 years old by this time.
That's right.
Because he's been dead for like 70 years. She's like 16. She's still in high school. They have their like big Halloween high school bash.
So take the entire premise of Casper the Friendly Ghost. Everything. There's a show called American Horror Story, and in the first season, it's the entire it's season long thing. So like they do a carnival, they did one that's an asylum, they did some good ones. The first one's called Death House.
You mean Rapist Gimsuit is Casper?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's Casper the friend. He's Casper the fucking friendly fucking ghost.
Because he is real friendly, isn't he?
Because he makes friends with the girl, and she actually dies and becomes part of the death house, and then the three other families that are stuck there are the other ghosts of his family, and then eventually the family all dies in the death house, so they all stay in there forever.
Yeah, everybody who dies lives there forever.
They just stole Casper the Friendly Ghost. My God.
Pretty much, but made it a lot darker.
Those dirty, cheap writers. And then oh my God. And then they stole so if you've ever seen the third one, it has Desmond, that guy who plays, very famous, voice of, old Halloween cartoons. I always forget his name. But they have him in the movie with Hilary Duff, and it's about him being a warlock and using magic and trying to resurrect stuff and using the dead. And they just stole that from oh my God. American Horror Story. You goddamn children stealing story bastards.
And then, well, they actually, if you go back and read like the synopsises that they put out before a season, they actually tell you like two of their major inspirations.
It better say Casper. It better say Casper.
It probably doesn't on that series.
Could you?
What's his name? Twisty the Clown is like loosely based off Ted Bundy.